Today is primary election day in New Jersey and Delaware, with most of the vote being carried out by mail. The election will be a test of the system ahead of November's general election. Ohio, meanwhile, is taking steps to make sure we too are ready 17 weeks from today. News 5's John Kosick with us live to explain. Always good to see John. Explain, sir.
Hey, Rob. Ohio is far ahead of other states when it comes to absentee voting, but the reality is our April primary should have gone smoother than it did. They were given the time that we had to prepare for it. We ran into our share of speed bumps, and this week was about smoothing some of those out. Last month, Ohio Secretary of State Frank LaRose began the process of making sure the state is ready for the November election by convening the appropriately named Ready for November Task Force.
There's two things in that. Ready for November is what we're working to make sure that we are, and Task Force implies that this is a group of workers.
And that work expanded this week to the state's 88 county boards of elections with the Ready for November directive outlining how the money from Washington and the CARES Act to help make sure things go smoothly in 17 weeks gets spent. Ohio received $12.8 million, with 87% of that money going directly to the counties. LaRose wants to see the money used for recruiting more poll workers. Ohio needs about 35,000 of them to pull off an election, but many of them are older and may not be willing to work for health reasons. LaRose calling for unprecedented efforts to recruit new poll workers and backups. Other directives include more election infrastructure to handle the expected increase in absentee voting, PPE to help keep poll workers and voters safe, additional ballot printing, and just being flexible.
We're trying to reinforce our current group. We're trying to make sure they feel comfortable once they're out there, and then we're looking for the creative ways then to move forward.
Creative again, mainly with recruitment of those poll workers, reaching out to civic organizations, churches, colleges, even high schools where you have students who are old enough and eligible.
Makes sense, John. Back to today's elections now in New Jersey and Delaware. Just how closely is Ohio looking at those for guidance?
I think every state is going to be looking at them as they have been looking at each of these primaries, but especially in New Jersey. There's a couple of key congressional races that are up, and you're going to have higher than normal turnout. So looking at that will give you a better stress test to see how these processes work.